Hello and welcome to Served Up Sundays. I have a headache. This is my second one of these in like 3 hours. And I ordered dim sum from a place that's not my regular, and now my tummy's upset. And JJ's getting only 3 hours of sleep tonight. We're doing great. You're on this side. There we go.
Oh. Clearly, we're doing fantastic. I'm still in a bunker. Your Sly is, really, it's popsicle kind of day.
It's a popsicle kind of day.
But you know what? We survived.
We survived. Speaking of surviving, let me tell you what I've been watching for the past 2 days straight, and that is random old seasons of Survivor.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's kind of perfect.
Yeah, so I'm going through it. I'm here, and how do I cope with traumatic things in my life? I pick a random genre of TV and start binging.
That sounds incredibly healthy.
Yeah, it's great. I somehow ended up on Survivor, and how I picked these random seasons was I found like a Survivor blog that like ranked all of the seasons from like worst to best, and I was like, I'll start at like number 10 and work my way through, right? So I started with the Trina season, which is season 15, which, oh my god, was like such a time capsule. One of the dudes they introduced as a gay Mormon flight attendant and then never addressed that sentence ever again, which, actually completely fit his vibe. I knew some people, who acted just like him, and I was like, yeah, I see it. So I went from that, finished that the other day, and then the next season on their list was 44. I jump in and we got project managers. Hold up. First of all, we have way more people of color. Like, stark difference. We love to see it. And then they're throwing around words like sus. And I was like, okay, all right. That was a time jump. And that was the choice I made.
Yeah, that sounds like a crazy, just like whiplash experience, cultural experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Strangely enough, Survivor is back in my life, not because I'm watching it, but because I'm talking about it a lot. Because a podcaster that I listen to was on the current season. They were the first person kicked off the island.
Of course they were.
But it's just become like a recurring thing in my life to talk about this because it's a podcaster I enjoy. Shout out to Tom Levitt. From Love It or Leave It, and the Crooked Media, and Pod Save America.
Incredible. I want to preface, or I guess, what's the opposite of a preface? I want to end this experience by saying, before this, I had watched a single season of Survivor. I don't know which one, it was probably the first one. And I only watched it because it was like literally the premise of my entire class that I had to take. It was a major requirement class, and the entire class was watching a season of Survivor and analyzing it. Don't ask me why. I don't remember.
You communication people have wild classes, and I say this as someone who once took a class where I was dropped in the middle of the woods once to three times a week, just dropped in the middle of the woods. Mm-hmm. And was told I had to deal with being in the woods. And I'm saying that y'all had crazier classes.
The other thing about jumping from like 15 to 44 is the game rapidly changed in between there. There are so many different aspects. They're talking about like all these advantages and all of these things, and I'm like, I missed all of these steps. But I'm catching up.
It's a different game now. That's what a lot of people say. Is that it's just an entirely different game than it used to be. And
which
also
makes sense. because everybody who's
it,
going on
yeah.
it knows what Survivor is. You have to elevate the gameplay when everybody, like, they're all at home, like, building the puzzles so they can recreate them because they get, like, reused and, like, all that stuff.
And also, like, being a reality TV contestant has become a career.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And,
yeah.
like, people are just jumping from show to show to show to show to show, from, like, Big Brother to Survivor to Amazing Race to, like, they just keep going from show to show to show. And just, like, it's not everyone, but, like, if you are a good player and you're fun on camera and the people love you, you can there are legitimate people who make a career out of it. And so at that point, you got to start switching up the game,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they come back for redemption seasons. And we all know we love a redemption season.
Love a redemption. All right. Other than the second thing on my list, which I want to say for the end, what have you been enjoying?
Well, I just came back from the um, Atlanta stop on the Found Heaven Conan Gray tour, that was opened by one Miss Maisie Peters. Um, and it was maybe the most perfect concert going experience I've ever had. Um, let everyone let's just start. We got there not too early, not too late. Like, show started at 7:30. I think we pulled up at, like, we found parking immediately that was close to the venue. Very slight, like, we did some, shady things to get it, but we got it. Um
I'm fascinated to know what shady things you did to get parking.
wouldn't you like to know? Um uh close to the amphitheater. No, that's not a story. No, no.
Not a story for live. That's fine. I'll get it out of you
It's
eventually.
nothing, guys. It's really nothing that shady. I'm just being dramatic. Um,
I
we
figured.
might maybe have cut someone off, but really they weren't even going for the parking spot, so it's fine. But close, got there at 6. No, not even. I don't even think it was 6:45. I think we got there more like close to like 6:57, like almost like 30 minutes, like just like 30 minutes before. Didn't spend barely any time in line to get through the gate. Found our seats quickly. Found out that our seats were 10 times better than we thought they were.
Hell yeah.
Got drinks. No line for drinks. Got drinks. Show happened. Maisie came on and performed. Maisie's is one of the greatest tours that you will, like, one of the greatest performers. It's so much fun, especially when there's a lot of people who are fans of her, which there were. It's a great time. She's a great performer. She switches out one song every performance for, like, as a surprise song, and she played my favorite song of hers, which was Yoko, and I died. Like, I was literally like, this is the greatest thing to ever happen to me. And then Maisie's set ends. I run and get a refill on our drinks. I bolt. I get there out super fast. I get the drinks and then back with literally from my seat out back to my seat within 3 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah, like what I say, everything went flawlessly for this show.
She's a track star.
She's a runner. She's a track star, y'all. Like 3 minutes. Like my friend that I went with was shocked that I was that.
Yeah.
Did that. Conan comes on. Conan's great. Had a great time. Conan performed a not released song that I happen to know every word to, which was very funny. Conan was great. Had a great time. And we were then, like, the first people out of the amphitheater. And we got to our car, pulled out, and missed basically all of the traffic getting out of the stadium.
Wow.
So, like, literally what is the last song that he sings? Oh, he sings Ali Rose to close the show. He literally sang the last note, was like, bye, and we were moving. And we were out. And it was great. And there was no encore. We didn't miss anything. It was perfect. I was in heeled boots too, and we were booking it. You know those heeled boots I'm talking about. I was in
Oh,
those.
those
Those
are
ones
great
that
heeled boots. Yeah.
are great heeled boots. I walked all over Seattle around them and almost died when I went
Just a little bit.
to when we went and had explored the city together. Um, but yeah, so bolted out, got on the road, got back to where we were staying. It was a flawless experience. Like literally, we left going, that was a flawless concert experience from top to bottom. Like everything went perfectly. Um, so I highly recommend the Fountain Tavern tour. It's a great time. I was mostly there for Maisie Peters. I'm still wearing my Maisie Peters bracelet.
As you should.
I love Conan Gray. Conan Gray's great. I'm just not a huge fan of his newest album. I think there's a lot of great stuff on it. It's not the greatest part of it. The high points of the show were songs from his previous albums for me personally. Except Bourgeoisie's. Bourgeoisie's is a bop. Love that song. And weirdly enough, Never Ending Song, which was not one of my favorites on the album. Live, that was the only song that my opinion drastically changed. I left that concert, and that was the song that was stuck in my head from Conan's set. I was mostly singing Yoko, because I still hadn't emotionally recovered. But eventually I was just like, it's a never-ending song, and it was great.
That's incredible.
So I was enjoying that. And I was enjoying... Oh, and the last thing I'm enjoying, that's what's happening in my life, is I'm auditioning for a production of The Last 5 Years.
Ooh.
Yeah. While I was in town, I found out, I was with my friend B, who is, part of the lore of this show. There's a production that was happening. They don't have a Jamie. They went to cast their season and they did all this stuff. And they have a Kathy. They don't have a Jamie. So they are asking for extra submissions. And the two of us went, let's do it for shits and giggles. Let's, for shits and giggles, audition for The Last 5 Years. So I'm auditioning for The Last 5 Years now. And I will have a submission tape in by the end of the week. And we rehearsed and we...
I can't say that I have anything against Whammo. I've never seen a show there, but it's more the I don't want to have to go that far to see a show when I can walk to a venue.
Yeah. So wait, Conan's going to Whammo?
Yeah.
Is Maisie Peters opening for Conan and Whammo?
I don't know. I didn't get that far. That's a great question. Riff while I Google this.
But yeah, so that's what's happening. I'm auditioning for a dream show that I know that I will never do. I'm not a tenor. I'm a baritone, a solid baritone. I don't have Jamie's high stuff, but
Maisie is also.
Then it might be worth it.
Is it? Okay. I don't know.
I love
ticket money right now.
That's so real. No, Maisie's
I think they would do a great show. I think it would be a blast.
Yeah.
But having to go through downtown and then also buying tickets is...
Oh, that was the only thing that went wrong with the entire... it was a perfect concert-going experience, and I had a budget for drinks, and we stayed under budget. We both got 2 drinks, and I spent over $100 on drinks.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That was too much. I have been spoiled in the past for my concerts, apparently, because I balked. I balked.
I would have guessed $80, $90, but...
Well, one was a wine cooler. Not a wine cooler, canned wine. One was a canned wine, and then one was a mixed drink.
Yeah, $18 to $22.
It was a 1-in-1, and I was that's too goddamn much.
It's too goddamn much. You're so right. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah, no, Anyway, that's what I've been enjoying. Everyone go
Good.
stream The Good Witch. Everyone go watch Found Heaven. Go see the Found Heaven tour. It's a great tour.
Hmm. Speaking of tours, I
Oh,
need you
whoa.
to.
Just if you have epilepsy or are sensitive to light, it is not a tour for you. It is not a safe from start to finish. I just thought about that, and I'm just like, oh, no.
I might have to actually skip that one, because I do
Yeah,
get
you're going to be out.
photosensitive migraines.
If you are photosensitive, get out of there. Like, truly. Like, I at one point went, that's a little bright. And I don't have that. I was just like, oh, it is. Yeah, if you are photosensitive, Found Heaven Tour is not for you. You are not safe.
Great disclaimer. But speaking of tours, I need you to talk me out of something, because I was like looking something up on Ticketmaster. I can't remember what. But I saw that the driver era is coming to Climate Pledge, which, you know, friends of the pod may know. Is the band offshoot with Ross and Rocky Lynch. I was like,
Yeah,
I don't
no.
need. I haven't followed any of
No.
their music in the like recent years, but I did over the summer. I had a job where I didn't have a long enough drive to like connect my phone and like put on like music or a podcast or whatever. So I did change out my CD. So I have been listening to the louder R5 CD all summer, and I was like, should I go to this show?
I'm gonna immediately talk you out of that. That is not.
Please do.
That is not your. That is not the vibe. You are like. No, no,
No, just
nothing against
straight
them.
up rejection.
Straight rejection. Like literally, I want a big red stamp with the outline around the word rejection, and I can just go pop and then slide. Like literally, open, no, reject, slide.
Mm-hmm. But what is adult money for if not funding like middle school youth hyperfixations?
I'm gonna need you to riff for a second because I need to pause.
I love how we're approximately what, like maybe 15, 18. I have a clock up here. 18 minutes into the show and I've already broken JJ with my shenanigans. Love that for me. The other thing I've been watching, because apparently I can only watch TV when hashtag trauma. So I've been watching Doctor Odyssey because somebody bullied me into it. And I hate / love all my life choices. It's incredible. I need those two boys to kiss. Listen, we got one couple kiss in the first episode. We got another couple kiss in the second episode. We just need the final point in the triangle to kiss in the third, and I will be happy.
Welcome back, Roy, Jamie, and Keely. Welcome back, white collar Neil. The white collar.
Peter?
Yes, Peter, and I can't remember Peter's wife.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Welcome back, Neil, Peter, and Elizabeth.
Listen, I posted a review of this show on Serialized, which I don't often like make comments or whatever, and usually it's just to remind me of like if I had a strong reaction to something. And I wrote, if this show doesn't end in a throuple, I swear to God. And I have 16 likes. I've had maybe 2 likes on a post so far. 16. The people are demanding it. They are screaming. They are here for it. Based on my very statistically relevant sample size, people want a throuple.
I've already started writing. Truly, I've already started writing. Like, just shooting ideas. Putting some pen to paper. Because, what is this show? What is Doctor Odyssey, if not just, like, it's gotta be on purpose. It's got to be on purpose.
It has to be. And if it's not, I'm disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Just disappointed.
Alright. Shall we?
I think we shall.
Okay. I want to start this off by saying, reflecting, I really enjoyed this week's episode of Lone Star. However, I did go to watch it this morning, completely forgetting I had watched it earlier in the week.
Nice.
And I don't know if that says more about me or this episode.
Honestly, so I watched the Lone Star episode today, but the same kind of thing happened with 911. I watched it on Friday, and I could not tell you I cannot tell you what happened in that episode. I can't tell if I think both episodes are Lone Star, and they're both really, really great. I think they're actually hitting their strides, like, in really, really good ways. But it's in a way that, like, makes network TV. It's a network TV way, which means you forget what happened until you sit down to watch the episode next week, the new episode next week.
Exactly. Do we want to start with IG?
No, we can start with Lone Star. That's fine.
Okay.
You start us off with Lone Star. Let's start with Lone Star.
Again, I barely remember this. So I'll just go through my notes real quick, and then we'll talk about the storylines. I wrote all caps, Tommy proposed, and then I wrote, but interrobang. Seriously, first of all, fuck that man. And second of all, fuck those editors. They knew what they were doing. That was pretty brilliant. I gotta hand it to you. That was cut very well. So we got the Tommy interpersonal drama storyline going on. We got Wyatt advocating for Judd when he goes into Owen's office. So we got the whole Judd family truck driving situation going on. We've got the lieutenant competition. Of course they tied. What were you expecting? Every step of the way, obviously. And then at one point during the train derailment, I don't know when, I just wrote holy fucking shit because I was so into it and it was so good. And I capped all of that off with Lone Star is so good when you ignore the Owen strand of it all.
Truly.
Because this was a great episode and there was barely any Owen strand and it was excellent. I was so here for it. I was eating that shit up. We got Mateo, taking charge of his section with the father trapped under the truck. We got Marjan with the oil tanker and working with the captain. And then we got Paul, like, doing, like, the eyes on the ground, like, support system role that he's so great at. And it was just lovely. And of course, Tommy talking Mateo through medical procedures while he is, like, in a buried car was hilariously amazing.
It was perfect. I think what was so strange about this episode is that they reminded me that Mateo was a lieutenant at one point. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
That was during, like, the dust storm arc, right? When everybody was split up.
Yeah, which was so long ago at this point, which was like 3 years ago or 2 years ago at this point, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was like it was 2 show years ago.
2 show years ago, maybe 3 years. Well, we've been doing this for 3 years. So over 3 years.
Shit.
No,
right,
we've been doing this for over 2 years. We've been doing this for over 2 years. Okay, so this was, yeah.
We started season
but Lieutenant
5 of OG? 6, 7, 8?
We started 2022. January 2022.
I don't remember.
I think it was January 2022. Honestly, it's somewhere on this YouTube page. There is a comment of, like, 911. Hey, join. It's recorded somewhere.
It's recorded somewhere. But yeah, what Lone Star storyline do you want to dive into first?
Let's go in the order we started. Let's start with Tommy.
Tommy, all right. Tommy, my beloved. She's, going strong with the pastor man. They're incredibly in love. Was it Charlie hanging out with them? Who was? Oh no, it was his kid and the 2 girls.
Yeah, yeah.
and the
So
twins. Okay.
it's all yeah, it's their three daughters doing
Their three
TikTok
daughters
dances.
doing the TikTok dances. Hilarious. Tommy ends up on one knee and proposes, and he's like, "Sure, but it states in my like divorce contract that my ex-wife has to approve of anybody I bring in to our daughter's life." Which means not only is Tommy getting interrogated, but also the twins, and she feels some sort of way about that.
As she should.
As she
As
should,
she
yeah.
should. Also, 100% something that should have been found out before now. Again, we understand, like, plotline, story, TV.
But
But
dramatic tension.
dramatic tension. But absolutely something that should have been mentioned before. And Tommy, I love the spontaneous proposal, but, like,
Also,
you gotta talk
maybe
about, is this leading to
talk
marriage
about,
before,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
spontaneous proposals are only good in fiction. Real life, no.
correct. A proposal should never be a surprise unless it's a great emotional moment in the story you're writing.
Yeah, and this was not. That was literally just like the first thing of the episode. Like, it was just, all right, time to proposal. For 10 minutes into the episode, it was a proposal. I didn't realize we were kicking with some gas. We were moving
Oh, yeah.
in this plotline.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
First of all, I think that was fucking brilliant. Like, play Taylor Swift, I'm the mastermind, of the ex-wife to stipulate that. Because,
yeah.
like, yeah, if you're gonna take my kid to a different state, and I have zero options of yoinking them back unless you try to get with somebody I don't approve of, like, you gotta have options. You gotta have a
Got a little leverage.
fail
As they were
safe.
talking about,
Some
leverage.
yeah. Another great throuple, leverage.
Multiple in leverage, or multiple.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing Tommy on the back foot in a way that we don't usually see Tommy on the back foot. Also, her stuffing donuts in her face. Great, lovely.
Relatable.
TK.
Me too, queen.
TK. TK and Nancy being just like, you okay, Cap, you okay? Weirdly enough, this wasn't like a Nancy-centric episode, but I felt like we got a lot of Nancy on screen reacting to things, and I thought I was like, yes, thank you.
I love her reacting. Like, her facial acting is always on point. The fucking, like, shoulder glance before the kiss, before he goes into the car, was, like, perfect. No notes.
Yeah.
I loved that.
More Nancy, everyone. Just more Nancy.
Give her, like, at least one storyline, please. Because we got, like, half a storyline with, like, the DNR patient. But it wasn't enough. We need more
Was not
Nancy.
Enough. Also, like, even the Mateo Nancy love story was like that. And it was more about Mateo. It was more about Mateo. So just more Nancy. More Nancy would be great. I did also really love TK checking out doing Carlos, like literally just going around Carlos and just going down, and like his eyes just going whoop, and it was like,
yeah,
as he should. We all knew what was happening in that moment.
Absolutely.
We were just hoping the camera would do the same thing. What? What are you talking about? What's going on?
Yeah.
Hello?
We didn't say that. Yeah. I don't remember a single thing about Carlos in this episode, unfortunately, besides that look. Was this when they
That's
were
all that
at
happened.
lunch? That was at... Oh.
No,
Lunch
it
was
literally,
last
the only thing was that he came in and brought donuts.
Okay. Incredible. It was just enough, you know? Kept us fed.
Rafa came in, looked hot, got his paycheck, walked out.
As he should. Yes.
As he should. Get his bag.
get that back and look great doing it, you know?
And look great doing it.
Excellent. We got the writers. So, Grace is completely unreachable. Who would have thought? Couldn't have guessed that was coming.
Yeah. Wyatt is, trying to do his best. Shout out to that actor. Really stepping up.
Yeah.
Really,
do a great job at Dispatch.
Do a great job at Dispatch. Feels like a natural, he feels like he has been there since day one, and he came in last season randomly, and we were all like, why? Why did you just randomly add this story in?
Yeah, we were like,
and now we're like,
here? And now he's like, he is putting in the work. And we'll talk about the office scene, but I was really, truly impressed by his performance during the train derailment. Because I was like, we need that grounding in Dispatch. If we don't have that, I feel like we'd lose the spark of 911. And so I'm glad we have that. Unfortunately, nobody can replace Grace, and that's just you can't live up to that standard. However, he came in, he's doing his all, and yeah, just love to see it.
Lived up to the standard of when Maddie was out and May stepped into Dispatch and was our main dispatcher. That's kind of the level, which was great. We absolutely loved that. It was perfect. And I think this is this is the best. You could not have done a better job with the situation of this actress is no longer here. This is the best thing to have done, and it works. And
it works really well.
Yeah. Very, very fun. I also really actually something that I noticed was when Wyatt came in and he was like, he's upstairs, Cap is upstairs, it gave me the thought of just we have never seen an elevator in this firehouse.
We have not. Obviously there's a freight elevator, but yeah, very convenient for them to that suddenly to appear in the set design. Interesting.
I just, it's also really great that they did a cutaway to the freight elevator and then a cutaway out of the freight elevator.
Yeah. Totally the same location. What are you talking about?
Totally the same. But it's just hey, sets should also have meet requirements. Even fictional places that you build should meet certain requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt.
That's hilarious.
He was just wow, this convenient freight elevator that's here. It's the first time I've ever seen it. Why is it also not as shiny and sparkly as this brand new firehouse that has been rebuilt twice?
That's the only thing that's been left standing in both the explosions was the freight elevator.
It's the freight elevator. That's the only thing that's left, is the freight elevator. Oh, wait, there was 2 explosions, wasn't there? So this firehouse has been rebuilt 3 times because Owen rebuilt it when he walked in the first time.
Right? Wasn't there 2 explosions?
I'm pretty sure there was 2 explosions. I think one required more extensive. One actually was rebuilt, and then the other was not a rebuild, but there was some damage done.
I think I got confused. There was the one explosion, and then there was the almost demolition that Marjan trained herself to the fire to survive.
Saying the plot lines of 911 Lone Star out loud.
Absurd. I love this dumb little show.
It's only had 5 seasons. Not OG has had is on its 8th, and it still is not as crazy.
Well, to be fair, Lone Star did lose the plot halfway through season 3, so they really jumped the gun on that.
I think you're being a little generous.
A quarter of the way through season 3.
I was gonna say halfway through season 2.
Okay. I liked season 2. That was the COVID season.
I liked the season 2 too, but also they lost the plot a little bit.
Alright,
Okay,
fair
they
enough.
lost the plot in season 3, and it's their own fault. They lost the plot in season 2 because of a pandemic, but the plot was still gone. Like there still wasn't the plot.
I'll give you that one.
One
um,
season was their fault. One season was not.
yeah, for real. I will say, it is their fault for trying to send Judd to Tacoma, which, like, I get. Like, there's a lot of, like, shipping and trucking, like, traffic out of Tacoma. But also, it's Tacoma. And anybody who doesn't live in Washington State, I hope you could, like, feel the derision in my tone when I said Tacoma.
Oh, it came through. It came through perfectly. Um,
Listen, there's some great parts about Tacoma. The, like, waterfront, gorgeous. The glass museum, incredible. There's some great museums. However, I do drive a stick, and it feels like an imitation of San Francisco.
interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's just like the whole way. And you'll, like, go up to a light, park on a very steep hill on the light, and then have to go straight down as you pass the light. Like, what are these? Like, couldn't we get, like, at least an attempt at, like, I'm not all about terraforming the entire world, but we could, like, try to level it out, right?
Right. Um, Something else that I found interesting. I did not know the certification. Or I see. I want to know if this is true. If the certification to drive a fire truck is the same certification as to drive an 18-wheeler.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure it's just the CDL. I think it's for
yeah.
everything over a certain length.
Interesting. 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 Interesting.
However, I've never worked in a firehouse, so I can't tell you if that's true. But it made logical sense to me.
It made logical sense to me as well. But also, I was like, Judd also has a family ranch. Like, there are
Yeah.
also big things that like a horse ranch. Those things are also huge. Like the big ones are the same thing. Like it's an 18-wheeler, but with just horses on it. I was like, I
But
would
horse
surprise if they.
trailers are an attachment. That's like, it's not.
No, not the big ones. You're like, yes, most people use just the small ones, but there are the big ones, or at least they are in South Carolina. That's literally just
Mm.
an 18-wheeler with an attachment that has horses in it.
However, if you do have any sort of, like, attack room with any sort of livable situation, they do get, like, classified as, like, as, like, homes, and it makes insurance, like, way more ridiculous.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway,
That was completely
Judd.
off the point. Anyways, Judd went for his driving test, did great, and now they want to send him cross country. And he's like, I have a small child at home, and I am a single mom who works 2 jobs.
uh, Judd also being like great interviewer. I love that Judd was a great interviewer. Everyone take
Excellent.
notes.
Right, yeah.
Take notes.
Hmm. This man's only interviewed for 1 job in his entire life. How is he this good? We don't know.
It's Judd. It's Judd.
It's Judd.
That's the answer. Again, he is the hottest character in the Iron Man universe.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and
Good
it is
for
what it's
him.
got to be. I love that he got to the point where he was going to go beg for his job back,
Hmm.
and that was taken away from him
Yeah.
because, like, that's just, I don't know. I'm so curious. I need him to be back in the firehouse.
Hmm.
I also love that there was consequences for his actions, even though his actions were like the thing he had to do. Like
Yeah.
it was like this is a interesting path that he's going on.
I know he would never leave, like, his, like, house. However, I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a really fun storyline, if, like, I don't know, some sort of emergency happened to a captain of another house and suddenly there's a vacancy and he's qualified and available.
Interesting, interesting. I wonder if that would happen.
I wonder.
It also, oh, that solves multiple problems. Because then you have Judd we're just introduced to a captain in this episode. We lose, there are two people vying for lieutenant.
And one of them could go to another house.
One of them goes to the other house. Something happens to the captain. Judd steps in as captain. This is the final season, and they said the point of at the beginning of the season, the showrunner said, everything comes to a conclusion. Everyone feels like they reached the end of their story, and it might not, and not everything's going to end sweet. A lot of things are going to be bittersweet. Some things are going to be sad. And maybe it is the end of the 126 as 126 ending. And that's the bittersweet. The team breaking up, but it's because they've outgrown each other.
They're going on to bigger and better things.
That seems really likely. Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's a much more interesting story, but also I just want Judd to come back. I want Owen to retire, Judd to become captain, and then Marjan and Paul just become co-lieutenants.
Yeah.
This is a firehouse. There was more than one lieutenant. It is not always this team that is on shift.
I was going to say, yeah, one of them could go to another shift. They don't all have to be on the same shift all the time.
There are more firefighters. These NPCs might also need a lieutenant.
They do. They deserve some leadership.
They deserve to be talked to every now and then.
Yeah.
Instead of skipped over.
Literally skipped over in the lineup last episode.
Lord have mercy.
Alright. Do you have any thoughts about the train derailment? Other than I thought it was an excellent rescue.
I thought the rescue's great. I loved the setup, I loved that they kept sprinkling in the pieces of the rescue. I thought that was great. I thought, in classic 911 fashion, the night we go back, we see it happen, then we go back in time. And of course, you're emotionally invested in the brother. You don't get the brother until the very end. You're just like, argh. Classic 911 fashion. It was just really well done. It felt, I think it was, because obviously this is the big opening emergency, but it still feels smaller, but it feels like, I think they struck the right balance of not doing something as big, but making it still feel as impactful.
It's not it's not like the tsunami arc in States, but it is in emotional setup. We are all invested. We want to know about all of these small little characters and where they go and how they get through.
I think it was also really smart to do it in the way of this isn't a mass casualty event. This has the potential to become a mass casualty event. But this isn't a mass casualty event. And I think that was really smart because instead of having, we're focused so particular on these storylines and we're not distracted by other things happening or, there's so many other things to do.
What do you think the odds are the reporter and her cameraman made it out of that explosion alive?
I think one of them makes it, one of them doesn't.
Good answer.
You can't make me make a choice. You can't make me decide.
You've watched this show before, but that works too.
Well, I think someone's got to die in this thing.
Mhm.
Uh, it's either going to be the cameraman and the reporter like feels awful about it, or it's the reporter and I consequences of their actions.
Yeah.
It's revenge on Taylor Kelly. We
Justice
love
for my
Taylor Kelly
girl
here.
Taylor Kelly.
We love Taylor Kelly here, everyone. Oh, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. No thoughts, just vibes.
No thoughts, just vibes. Truly,
Which
truly.
I think is actually the best way to consume 911. I know we think really critically about these shows and talk about them on the internet, but they are truly at their best when we're just like, I don't know, man. It was good.
Well, that's why we normally drink while we do the show.
True.
um, yeah, no, but also we've made an entire show about thinking about the show way too hard, which actively makes the enjoying the show harder to do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think. Is that all the storylines of Lone Star?
Basically.
Yeah. I did love the "You must be Lieutenant Marwani,"
Yeah.
and
I
Marwani
love
going, "Not
this
yet."
Captain Asshole. I don't know. I like again, no idea who he is, but I'm sure we'll find out soon.
The 129.
Mm-hmm.
I also love. I think it was the 129, and if it is the 129, I love that it's the 129 because it's just the six flipped,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, it's so close, but no cigar.
It's giving the 119, the fictional set team that Bobby's working with.
Is that a segue? Was that just a
That was
beautiful,
the
perfect segue?
Yeah.
Yes. Let us talk about Hot Shots. Let us talk about this wonderful, wonderful man who is this actor, who is a parody of a Los Angeles actor, who I am sure has worked at 911 before. Like, imagine you are that actor, though, who worked on 911, and they are parodying you. Like, this exists. It's great.
Yeah.
Also, he's absolutely in love with Bobby. I don't ship it. I crack ship it. I crack ship it.
You crack ship it? I'm with you there. I would read a crack fic about the two of them.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be requited. Just crack ship about it.
Yeah, this
like,
whole set, I love how they're basically doing the Baby in the Plumbing episode in the TV show, and Bobby's like, y'all get your shit together every time. The director's so fed up with him. He's like, they're not here for reality, they're here for entertainment. And Bobby's like, how can you be entertained when it's so blatantly wrong?
Which is really funny, especially about the number of times we've pointed out things that were wrong in 911.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because they have so many firefighters on staff at 911. They have so many technical advisors, and they have their technical advisors and retired firefighters work as their extras.
I will say, Angela Bassett, your CPR technique was impeccable. I love that for you.
Angela Bassett said, I am a producer on this show. You're not catching me slacking. I paid for these people to teach me how to fake this. I will be doing it well.
Who was it who had a water rescue? Was that in Lone Star? Or was it last week?
That was last week.
I was thinking of Doctor Odyssey, I think.
There was multiple water rescues in Doctor Odyssey, but there was a water rescue on the episode 1 of 911.
Yeah, where they started with compressions and not rescue breaths, and it did piss me off. Yeah.
For the woman who had so many bee stings.
No, the dude who fell overboard in Doctor Odyssey.
Oh, Doctor Odyssey.
I think it was. I don't know. I watched something recently where once again they did a water rescue, and the first step was not to try to clear the airway before starting compressions. It's
I
fine.
do not
I'm
think
not
they have a
salty.
maritime. I don't think they have a maritime consultant on Doctor Odyssey. There's a
The
Ryan Murphy
CPR
show.
doesn't work if they're drowning. If no oxygen is getting into the lungs, what's the point of doing CPR? Okay, that's my lifeguarding rant for the day. Let's move on. My first note is, so it was the scene with Gerard where he's concussed and delusional, and they're carting him away, and they nominate Hen as an acting captain, and she's like, "We're gonna dance it out," and Buck is just standing there like awkward tall man, and he looks so traumatized and so confused. And they're just like, weight off our shoulders. We're going to take a breath. We're going to enjoy the moment. And he's like standing there and he's like, "I just killed a man." And they're like, "We're dancing it out." And I was like, I love that. I love that scene. It killed me.
So good, so good. Aisha doing the apple dance. Uh, referencing the fact that Cass did the apple dance, incredible. I'm sad we didn't get more of Chimney's dance because he was about to go off. Eddie Diaz deserves to dance on screen. We need more Eddie Diaz dancing on screen. It's always the best. Also, I loved beforehand when Buck was just like having a meltdown, and it's an image now of where he's like behind, like there's literally it's a gif of him, the way he's like acting, and it's as if Eddie is talking to the guy who's like pulling out the saw, and Eddie's got his hands on his hip, and the caption is now, "He asked for no pickles," and it's incredible because Buck is doing the "I'm having a sensory meltdown." Like, it looks like he's having a sensory meltdown, or not a sensory meltdown, but like having a sensory issue that just happened, and he cannot communicate it. And Eddie's just like, "That's my boy. He asked for no pickles."
Oh,
It's incredible.
that man would make a great Karen.
That man is a great Karen.
That man is a great Karen. You're so right.
This man punched someone because they yelled at him for parking in a handicap spot, even though he was supposed to.
Yeah, he really did. He's a very aggressive or physical Karen.
Oh, Karens are physical. Karens are
I feel
absolutely
like
physical.
Karens are more likely to get in a slap fight than deck a guy in the face. But yeah.
I mean, the military training just took over in that moment,
Yeah.
but the instinct was
It
Karen.
really did. What else? Oh, the fucking funeral. First of all, 911. Fuck you. It was brilliant. It was beautiful. That girl playing young Athena does a great Angela Bassett impression. She was like nailing it. She was doing the like, you know how she gets like fiercely passionate and then like draws back and just like gets like really emotional in her voice. She was like, it was a top tier Angela Bassett impression. However, it did feel like an Angela Bassett impression, so I don't know.
Well,
If it
I also think
succeeded
about it.
as much as I thought it did.
I think it did succeed. I think also she's the same actress who played it in the major Athena Begins episode. And like that was like a whole performance from start to finish. Like there was a whole episode of thing. This was one scene. This was let me pop in, do this 5 years later. Like it's been a minute. Pop in, do it. So I think it worked exactly what it needed to do. Got the cadence down so right.
Yeah.
Shout out though to because guess who does the voiceover of that scene?
Who?
One Tommy Vega. That voiceover is Tommy Vega has officially entered into the 911 OG.
We love you, Gina Torres.
Gina Torres. We love Gina Torres in this house.
I love that she's pulling a Mateo's cousin. I think that's brilliant. Good for her. However,
hey, Gina Torres is just a little young. Was certainly around and alive when young Athena was alive.
Mm-hmm. My one gripe with this funeral scene is it did make me cry. The last calls always fucking get me. And, TV shows always have to fucking include them. I get it. You're going for the, emotional gut punch. But also, fuck you. I was not prepared to cry at my TV at, 10 a.m. An hour after I woke up.
Yeah. Just
Got
emotional gut punch.
Well, fuck you for that. And then the entire plane rescue, I had no notes until the final one-liner of the entire thing, where they were like, "We've got a licensed pilot on board, a conscious one at that."
Oh God.
Not for long, bucko. But that was a great line.
Absolutely great line. I did not like how they played the guy who was being misogynistic and on the plane when he entered the plane. I mean, he wasn't actually misogynistic. It was just he was not a good guy. He did not come off as a good guy. Yes, the woman with
Which
the
guy?
emotional support dog is the guy with who they
ED
saved
guy?
with
Yeah.
the ED guy. He did not come off great. Neither did the woman. But he did not come off great. And then
I don't remember a single thing about his entrance.
It was not great. It just made me realize what is the new baseline on network TV, and I was like, it should be higher than that. But they did have great romantic chemistry at the end. But I was just like, this is tainted. I don't know. This is tainted.
They both suck, and I hope them one good romp, and then to go along with the rest of their lives separate ways.
The older, I think were they Korean?
Older couple, I don't know. I was not really paying attention.
They rocked.
But they were
I
great.
loved them.
They were awesome. Going to see the grandkids,
They had everything.
right?
They were just
had everything.
Mm-hmm.
Relatable. I was at work last night, which is why I did not wake up until very late in the morning. However, somebody was like, I don't have this thing, and I was like, I've got my whole med bag. What do you want? I got meds on meds on meds. I got
meds on meds.
So I felt deeply seen by that older couple.
Nice. And then the boy.
They set that up, and I was like, that is such an obvious setup.
Yeah.
However, I did like it. It was a good.
However, did I see this coming from a mile away? Yes.
Yes.
Did I still like it when it happened on my screen? Also, yes.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel about it. I was like, this is the most glaring, obvious, flashing red light setup I have seen in a hot minute. Mm-hmm. And I still enjoyed every second of it.
It worked. It was so great. And also, little kid holding his own with Angela Bassett.
Absolutely. That kid rocked.
We'd love to see it. We love to see it.
I do love that they took the entire station offline to answer field calls from people on the plane. That was brilliant. Seeing how all of them reacted, we got hen pacing or whatever in the background, and everybody's doing their own thing of how they're solving things. Brilliant. Seeing oh god, what's his name? I don't want to just call it Emmett's Killer, but I'm just gonna call him Emmett's Killer because I don't remember his name. Making the prison shiv. And they were like, where do you learn how to do that? He's like, where do you fucking think?
Are you really worried about that right now when there is a hole in this plane and this man is dying?
Right. I think the
Oh,
girls were great, actually. The whole team.
you know, the line that killed me
Yeah.
was, it's like basketball. It's like we gotta persevere and we've gotta adapt and overcome. And then as soon as that being said, the hole gets bigger. Was the greatest timing.
That was brilliant. I thought she did great. The little captain
She's
girl,
great.
she was acting her ass off. Good for her.
I just, if we just adapt and overcome, poof. And like the music was swelling and everything was going great and everyone was saved.
We love a dramatic montage and then everything crashes.
Almost quite literally. While everyone is being incredibly competent on the phone calls, one Evan Buckley is trying to get through to his pseudo father, Bobby Nash. Bobby Nash, pick up your phone.
Desperately. First of all, Bobby Nash is the type of man who is never going to remember to have his phone on him, I feel like. Second of all, he is on set, so he did turn it off. All the way off. Not even like a do not disturb, which is so like true to his generation. However, I am shocked, horrified, appalled that an emergency like responder does not have his phone on A all the time and B set up on do not disturb where if somebody calls you 2 times in a row it automatically goes through because obviously it's a fucking emergency.
Oh my gosh. Watching Angela Bassett be like do her final goodbye to Bobby, it's just like, oh.
And then him reacting to the final goodbye and being like, she's on that plane, isn't she?
She's.
And then Bobby stealing a fire truck. We love a callback.
We love a callback. He's come so far. And then, of course, his hot shot.
Yeah.
Jumping into the back of the van with him. Everything I've ever wanted.
And he was like, get out. You know what? I don't care. We're going. It's fine.
So, I know you have facial blindness. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Do you know who that actor... Do you know what movie that actor was in? Very important movie in the We'll Throw the After Party canon.
Is it? Oh,
he was in a movie that is incredibly important, that has been talked about.
A movie
on We'll Throw the After Party extensively. It was not your choice to talk about it, but you very much enjoyed talking about it.
What movie did I watch that I would not have picked that I very much enjoyed?
I believe it was Marissa's pick.
Fascinating. Because we have very different tastes in movies.
This movie starred Anne Hathaway.
What the fuck?
A hotshot actor.
The only Anne Hathaway movie I can think of was Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement.
He is in Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement.
I love that movie. That would have been my pick if I could have.
Do you know who he plays in that movie?
Who the fuck is he in? No, I don't.
Would you like me to tell you?
I would love for you to tell me, JJ.
He's the fiance.
Andrew?
He's Andrew, the fiance.
That man got old.
The movie's old. That movie is old.
Oh, that's iconic.
The movie's over 20 years old. It's like almost 20 years old. Hold up.
It came out in like 2005, 2008. One of those two.
Princess Diaries. 2004. The movie is 20 years old. The movie is 20 years old. He did not get old. It was 20 years ago.
Yeah, time is fake and a social construct.
This actor is 47 years of age. He was 27 when he did Princess Diaries too. Now
Okay.
he is 47.
That makes sense. I hate to admit to you, JJ, but that person will still remain two very separate people in my brain.
Uh,
That is hilarious.
it's the best part.
I
Watch
love
again.
that for him. You know what? That makes sense.
Go back, because at one point you're going to hear it or see it or something. There's going to be something that connects and you're going to recognize him. Because I was like, I can't believe that that's him. And then it was like, oh. Or like, I think maybe it's the way he holds his face. There's just some moment where I'm just like, that's the breakup scene.
That's a great breakup scene. It's one of the best. I love that for them. That is so funny. I can't believe that's fucking Andrew. Jeez.
Working actors. Gotta have a job.
Get that back. You know what? Get your health care. I'm so happy for you. Good on you.
Get your health care. We are happy when actors have health care.
We are. I'd be a little happier when I have health care. But, you know,
Amen.
it's fine.
Amen. Yeah. You know what? Both episode shows, because I was like, that's the end of 911. We booked through them. I think the thing that it shows was just like, they were incredibly well written episodes, well executed, well edited. Like, they were solid network TV.
The moment where Athena is in the cockpit and she's on the phone and she takes the magazine and smacks the bees, I was like, that was just enough bee to tie this whole arc together. It was the perfect sprinkling of bee. It was brilliant. We didn't get any other bees anywhere else except for that moment, and I lost my shit. That was so funny.
Exactly what we needed. I also love Athena going, that's it? That's all we had to do? To turn the plane around? Oh. Or just like the entire Athena on that phone conversation. Also,
She's
someone
like,
pointed
how
out, it's
am
like,
I supposed to know what that is? And then that kid is like, it's that one.
What is it? It's that all white men think that they could land an airplane in an emergency. And Athena is like, it's like, yeah, Athena responded as not a white man.
Do you think you could land a plane in an emergency?
According to the Mythbust episode, I can, because there was a whole Mythbusters episode on it. That's what I think. I'm just like, I trust the Mythbusters. Will I crash? Probably. Like, I think that there's like a good chance that I'd crash, but like, I also think I could. Like, I don't think I could in like a. I think I could in a Mythbusters way, like in this like weird Mythbuster way. Like there are some things that I think are true in a Mythbuster way, if that makes sense. Like Mythbusters was fake, but not fake. Like the science is actually a lot of the times really solid, but also just still not true because it's just a weird experiments where eventually something blows up. But like I believe it in a Mythbusters way.
Yeah.
They said that they did an experiment where people without training they did simulators. They didn't put them in a real plane, but they were able to land simulators. So I'm just like, you know what? Maybe in a Mythbuster way, yeah. But like not in if an actual plane was going down, my hand is not going up to land the plane. And they're like, who thinks they could do it? My hand's not going up.
Yeah, I think if somebody coached me through it, like if I had the instructor on the line, I'd do fine.
Oh, yeah, no, that was the thing about the landing. Like, if I didn't have, like, that was the experiment, is, like, could you coach someone through landing a plane?
Yeah.
And everyone did it. in a simulator.
Yeah, again, in a simulator. Do I think I'd probably nose down a little too hard and split the plane in half and then everybody would be kind of fucked? Yeah, probably. However, it'd be fun. This was not an ad for Microsoft's Flight Simulator. However, it
No,
kind
it's
of feels
not.
like it could have been.
Do we think the little boy is going to be the one that lands the plane?
Well, that's what I thought originally, and then he did much less landing of the plane in this episode than I expected. So now I'm kind of taken aback.
Now it'll be Angela Bassett. Well, it's got to be Angela Bassett because I don't know if you watched the On the Next.
I did not.
You got a great shot of Peter Krause bringing down the plane.
Oh, good for them. We love to see hot couples winning.
Hot couples winning is what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
I also love
a lot of
Angela.
hot couples winning this episode. Both these episodes.
I love watching the fact that it's like every opening disaster now is just Angela Bassett and Peter Krause doing the absolute most, and then them just like chilling the rest of the season. They're like get all of their stuff in at the front end, carrying the weight load of the most important episodes.
Team. Like the rest of the team is doing their own thing, and then we'll go on to carry the rest of the show. But they're like setting it up like we are, the figureheads. We are the faces. We are the moment.
Well, the season premiere are the biggest episode. Like they're the biggest episodes. They're the most expensive episodes. They're also the live viewers that they get. I think they're like the week plus fluctuates a little bit. Like there are some random episodes, but like they're still usually the most watched episodes. And what do the most people want to watch? Angela Bassett and Peter Krause on their screen.
Yeah. Very real. All right. Do we have any final thoughts?
Some predictions for the next thing. We did Lone Star predictions. You presented a great theory for Lone Star that I 100% think is what's going to happen.
Prediction? Ah, yes. I did a whole season prediction.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And we also did the guess about who they're going to survive or not. And then but for 911, you know what? I think it's going to be Athena that lands the plane. She's really going to be the one landing the plane. I think we're going to get a hint at what the hurdles are going to be. And so I think at the end of the third episode, the end of this, at the end of the disaster, Buck's going to go home to Tommy, and we're going to get a glimpse at what the hurdle in their relationship is going to be, because they're going to find out more about each other. There's going to be some hurdles. We love conflict. Story needs conflict. I think we're going to get a hint at it, and I think it is going to have to do with Gerard, because I think it's going to be Buck dealing with his emotions about Gerard, and that's going to be what's revealed in what's going to reveal the problems in his and Tommy's relationship. And I think those two storylines are going to converge.
I think you're 100% right about that. Yeah.
I also think we're going to have a kind of come to Jesus moment with Eddie, where at the end of the episode, he's going to go home to a house alone. And it's just going to be a shot of him in the house by himself after the emergency.
I've already read enough fics of that. Thank you, everybody who writes wonderful fics that magically appear in my inbox. I think I'm good. I think I already worked through my feelings about that.
I don't think we're going to get him breaking down. I just think we're going to see him hit the fact that he's alone in his house again. Like, we're going to just hit that beat again.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also think we're going to see, I wonder if, the cliffhanger of the third episode is going to be something with Mara, and Mara being with Chimney, and, the foster parents, the social worker, uh, something happens, lawyer with the councilwoman, something, and they get in trouble for having Hen and Karen so close to Mara. Something like that's going to happen, and that'll lead us into the plotline for episode 4. Because we know episode 5 is very Eddie-centric.
Episode 5 is.
I know what episode 5. Episode 5 is very Eddie-centric, so I think episode 4 might be Hen-centric. And then 5 and 6 are Eddie and Buck-centric. Separately. I think they are separately centric. Like, I don't think it's Buck and Eddie. I think Eddie has a major storyline and Buck has a major storyline.
That makes sense.
Well, should I tell you this?
I don't know, should you?
Eddie Diaz was, Ryan Guzman was filming in a church at one point. Ryan Guzman also follows Hot Priest. He follows season 1 Hot Priest.
I have been screaming from the rooftops for years. I need more Catholic Eddie Diaz. I need more Catholic Bobby. Like, put that man in a church again. But specifically, I need more Catholic Eddie Diaz. And if we get it, I will cry. I will lose my shit. It's everything I've ever asked for. Thank you, 911 gods. You're finally listening to us. Thank you, ABC.
Yeah, I think that's my final predictions. This is my final thoughts.
I really want Buck to grapple with the fact that he sobbed over the old gays in 2-8, and what that means for him as a human. I don't think we're ever going to get it, but I want it.
No. I think we need it too. I think it'd be delightful.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, we've been live for an hour and 18 minutes. I think this is one of our shortest shows ever. And that goes to show we didn't have any major gripes with either of these episodes.
No, it went so well.
Breath of fresh air.
Truly. 911 is back, baby.
Mm-hmm. 911 is back. And dare I say, better than ever.
Yeah, better than ever, truly. And Lone Star. It's also so rare that Lone Star is cooking and 911 is cooking at the same time.
What is in the water? Like, usually, like, one will be strong and then the other will be strong. And we'll do this fun little back and forth dance. But no, they are both killing it. And I think it helps that, Lone Star has to kill it because it is their final season. And they've got, like, a fire under their ass. Like, we gotta nail this. And it also means everybody's diverted all their attention off of Lone Star and back to OG.
Yeah. Also, we're not doing back-to-back. We got days in between.
Yes.
And that really lets Lone Star.
Thank fucking God. Remember when we were talking about how, like, emotionally, like, rough it was to, like, sit through those 2 episodes back-to-back? God, it was exhausting.
Yeah, especially because we were also doing a live show, directly after them at one point. Well, no, because that was when it was on Mondays.
It was when it was on Mondays.
So yeah, no, we were. Yeah, but still, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Also, well, this is a new format for us. So this is also being shorter. I have to start taking notes, which is not my usual style. We'll also be doing this earlier on Sundays normally, which is I literally just got back from a trip, so I did not have time to write down any notes, keep up anything, remind myself, do any of that. So I think next week will be our first real Served Up Sunday.
First real, yeah. And I think at least I will probably be actually drinking for once. which will
Fair.
help.
That was all. That
Yeah.
also, we are not as verbose as we normally are
No.
because both of us aren't. That's the thing is when both of us aren't, that our shows are shorter.
Yeah. Yeah, I did have a headache already, and I didn't want to exacerbate that. So, you know, we're making responsible life choices. This show is also now on my Saturday. Like, it's like it's gonna be 1 p.m. on my Saturday. So, like, kicking off the weekend strong.
Nice, nice.
It'll be
Uh,
fun.
yeah. I got that's all.
All right. Until next time, where can people find you on the net?
Yes, you can find me everywhere at JJ Watch. And maybe on a stage near you, depending on where you live in the country. Singing Jason
That would be
Robert
very
Brown.
exciting. We love some
I'll keep you all
Jason
updated.
Robert, man. Yeah. You can find me having hit Doctor Odyssey reviews on Serialized at Cyclone. You can also sometimes find me talking shit on Threads at Cyclone MC. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I'm trying really hard to
Incredible.
not exist on the internet anymore besides the shows I do. Oh, you could also find me on Hit DC podcast, DC Graduates. We're having a blast. We're currently recording season 2. We're just finished releasing all of our bonus episodes in between seasons. So it's a great time to catch up. If you want to listen to season 1, go for it. It's great. It's like the Diniverse. If you want to just dive into season 2, we'll be going through some origin stories. It'll be really fun. But yeah, I'm having such a blast with that. So every Friday at 5 a.m. Pacific, catch DC Grad.
Nice. Incredible.
All right. I think that's it. Till next time.
Till next time, see y'all out. Peace out. And hopefully I'll be out of the bunker next week too. So
Hopefully we'll be out of the bunker. Cheers to that. If you can do anything to help with relief aid in the States, please do. You know, people are out there. People are putting in the work. And we see you and we love you. But until next time, bye.
bye.